What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another Marvel Future Fight video. Alright, so in this one here, we're going to be taking Iceman in against Galactus again, because we have the new uniform here to try out against Galactus. I completely forgot that I hadn't tried him against Galactus with this new uniform. I had only done extra, like, World Boss Ultimate testing, but not against any giant bosses. So, now we can see what he can do with the new uniform against Galactus, where we have a little bit more kind of leeway in terms of the skill rotation, because we don't have to rely on the damage immunity and the iframes to stay alive. We can kite quite easily against Galactus because, of course, the attacks are easy to dodge and recognize when they're happening, whereas in World Boss Ultimate, you don't have as much time to react, and if you get clipped, it can be pretty devastating. So that's why he seems very underwhelming in World Boss Ultimate in terms of his survivability. His damage, of course, is better than without the uniform. It's just he's so much easier to play with his base kit than with this uniform. So that's why I just not super impressed with this uniform. And I really don't think if you don't have Iceman, that this uniform would make you want to get him, and I wouldn't recommend getting him just because he has a uniform now. If you still haven't bought Iceman, you're not really missing out on too much here, and I do have a pretty good build on him. So if we go ahead and take a look at the build here, we have nothing over here, but we have some skills leveled up, and then we have Power with Angry Hulk at stage 6, and the big one here, we have a CTP of Judgments on him, which I'm very close to taking off of him because there's a few characters, or a few elemental damage characters, that I want to try out with this, and Iceman is the one that has my only, or wait, do I have 2 CTPs of Judgment? I don't even remember. Oh no, I do have a second one, but that one's on Enchantress, and I really like Enchantress with her new uniform, so that's going to stay on Enchantress. So I'm happy with how she's performing, so she can keep her Judgment. But Iceman here, I think this is going to be going to someone else very shortly, which is not to say that Iceman is a bad character, because he still does really good damage. It's just I'm not a big fan of his kind of play style. With the non-uniform look, it felt better, but the damage wasn't quite as good. With the new uniform, the damage is good, but the skill rotation feels very clunky. It just seems like it's really hard to keep him alive, that there's just too much that you have to pay attention to with the new uniform. So anyway, that's what he's looking like there. If we go to the details, we have pretty much max skill cooldown and ignore defense. Our other stats are average. Our attack speed is maxed, but everything else is kind of average on him. So that's what he's looking like. So let's go ahead and hop into the gameplay against Galactus and see how he did. Alright, so here we are loading into the fight. We have 2 random teammates here, one with a tier 3 Silver Surfer and one with 2 tier 3s there, so not really expecting much from them. But that Silver Surfer is probably going to give us a run for our money here. I already know that Iceman does pretty well against Galactus here, because when I tried him out without the uniform, he was doing a pretty good chunk of damage to Galactus. I believe if we had gone for the entire 10 minutes, he was doing like 60 or 70% of Galactus's HP. I really can't remember. I probably should have double checked that video beforehand, but yeah, if you want to see that video, I guess I will link it in the description below so you can see what he did against Galactus without this uniform, just like his base kit. I believe I was using a very similar team, and nothing has really changed on him. I was still using ACTP of Judgment at that time. You already saw I don't have any Urus on him, so none of that has changed as well. So they should be pretty similar. It's just the uniform is the only thing that has changed. And as you can see, we are melting some bars here, so we're definitely putting in a lot of work. The Silver Surfer, of course, is doing a good portion of that as well. But the question is, how much of that is the Silver Surfer and how much of that is Iceman? You'll have to wait till the end to find out, but I will let you know that Iceman is actually doing a good amount of damage, so it's not all the Silver Surfer. I'll let you know that right away. And it's probably, I think it was like a 60-40 split in terms of the damage. So let's go ahead and collect our orbs here. Are we the only one collecting orbs? I think that Thanos is just kind of given up. I don't know what he's doing there. He's just running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Well, we gotta avoid this attack here. But yeah, Iceman, I mean, there's not really much to say about him now with this this new uniform. It's just really awkward to play him with this new uniform, so I'm not really sure what they were going for here with the uniform. It, like I said, it helps out his damage, but it doesn't really change around much else. It just kind of hinders his skill rotation by increasing the cooldown on his third skill, which I really don't like. I wish they had stuck with the old third skill in terms of like the cooldown, and maybe just don't give him the summons, because I'm not really too impressed with the summons. I mean, the summons are cool, and they do different attacks whenever you do attacks, but the damage from the summons is definitely not going to be enough to kind of justify the change there. At least in my opinion, because I really liked how he played before in terms of the skill rotation. Either way though, with or without the uniform, you did need to have a activation, so a rage or a judgment, to really take advantage of him, because he's very difficult to play with a damage proc, and because his skill animations are so short, you can't really take advantage of a regular damage proc anyway, because as you know, as soon as the skill's animation has ended, then the proc turns off. So when you have a short skill animation, even if it leaves a lot of lingering effects, or the kind of effects last for a while, they're not going to be getting that extra damage. So that's why he really suffers for a regular damage proc. His longest skill animation is going to be his first skill, so you'll pretty much have to try to get all of your extra kind of residual effects going on there, all of the ice, get that onto the field, and then hop into your first skill and hope that that's where your damage proc goes off, because then you'll get the most damage that way. So running down here, we got 15 bars left, and then we'll be able to find out the final results here. What kind of damage did Iceman do? Did he out damage the tier 3 Silver Surfer, which, what did the Silver, oh yeah, I had to switch there because I was going to probably die from that. What support did that Silver Surfer have? I've already forgotten. I believe he had a leadership and also a support with him. So very similar to me, which I didn't even mention that, but I'm using Ancient One and Coulson here. So Ancient One is a pretty good lead for anyone that does elemental damage, because you get his own, well, of course they have to be blast type, so any blast type that deals elemental damage he's going to be a very good support for, because you get that 45% energy and then the 15% elemental from his passive there. So he's basically like a 60% leadership for elemental characters, so that's actually really nice. Alright, here we go. What did we end up doing? So the Silver Surfer did beat us out. He did 57% of the damage, and we did 40% of the damage. So he did 17% more damage than us. Oh yeah, we can see there what he has: Nick Fury for lead and support, and then he has Cyclops for support, because Cyclops does increase energy damage with that uniform. What is it, 30% with that uniform, or is it just 25? So he is going with a double support as well. We did get pretty close though. I mean, 17% isn't a whole lot. What is that, 12 million? Yeah, 12 million more damage than us. We did 30 million damage though in 4 minutes and 38 seconds. So again, just like without the uniform, he's more than enough to do a third of Galactus's life. So he is a viable option against Galactus, provided you have a very similar build to me, and you definitely need to have a CTP of either Judgment or Rage. I haven't really seen Iceman perform extremely well with any other kind of obelisk or CTP, so you want to use that. If you're going for a damage build, of course, if you're going for a defensive build, then you can go with anything that gives you some immunity. But again, Iceman just, I don't know, not really spectacular in PvP or PvE. He does, like I said, very well here with the Judgment, but you know, that's kind of a high cost to make the character just, I'd say, above average, because if you give some of the other elemental damage dealers a Judgment, I do think they will outperform him. But you know, I could be wrong there. Maybe I'm not giving Iceman enough credit. Maybe it's just because I don't like how this new uniform performs. Maybe that's why I'm feeling a little biased, because I was like, oh, Iceman's getting uniform, this is gonna be awesome, and then I get the uniform, I'm like, huh, okay, well then. But anyway, that's gonna be it for this video here. Hopefully you enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.